All right, everyone. This is Granton here. Welcome to Damper Germ TV. We're here with another interview. This time we have the popular metal YouTuber Killbot and Gor Gor Attack. Welcome, Killbot.
How you
Welcome to
doing,
the
man?
show. Good, good. You?
Thank you. Doing wonderful.
Excellent, excellent.
Got,
All right.
Got my Mountain Dew here and got a healthy dose of some very loud sound waves last night over in your stomping ground, Richmond.
Hell yeah, that's
Saw
us,
Swans
man.
last night.
Yep. All right. So, our first question. I wanted to ask this first. I ask everyone this. I go door to door asking this actually in my neighborhood. What is Killbot and Gor Gor's opinion on the greatest band of all time, Limp Bizkit?
This interview is over!
Oh my god! As someone who has seen them live and hated them, they were the worst band I've ever seen live. I just want your take. I'll get to the serious questions in a bit.
I love that you opened the...
Oh yeah, of course. Gotta catch him by surprise.
You know, when you said door to door, I thought you were going to talk about the door to door metal video I did a few years ago. Hey there, I thought you'd like to talk about Limp Bizkit. Have the neighbors like bring their shotguns out.
I bring the hang on. I got the shit. Where is it? It's somewhere here. Yeah. I got. Would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior Fred Durst? All right. Seriously though.
Wait, we're still on the question?
Yeah. Oh, do you not like him?
I don't listen to him.
Okay. I like him fine. I saw them live and they were terrible, and that made me lose a lot of respect for them. But other than that, yeah. All right. So now that we get to the serious questions, okay. So I just wanted to ask you this. What got you started on this YouTube journey of yours?
Oh, well, there were things that I wanted to see on YouTube that weren't on YouTube at the time that I started.
Okay.
I was big into vinyl collecting, and I'm a bit of a visual learner myself, so mainly if I see reviews of stuff, I'd like to see video reviews of it rather than reading it in a blog or something. I was collecting Autopsy records and Dystopia records, Carcass records, Obituary records, and nobody was really talking about those albums on YouTube at the time, so I thought maybe I should be proactive and fill that gap. The idea was to be a metal version of the Angry Video Game Nerd, so instead of talking about video games, I'd be talking about metal. And it would be done in a way where I would entertain people with skits and reviews and stuff, but in a way that you can learn about stuff as you're going along. What really got it going was I did a video where I finally let my personality totally shine on a video on Nile. And just for fun, just to see where it would go, I sent it to Carl Sanders just in case he wanted to see it. And not only did he like the video, he posted it on his Facebook page.
Oh, hell yeah.
And people in his comment section loved it. So that gave me the push to keep going. I was thinking, well, you know, I really got something here.
From what I've seen, we were just talking about TikTok right before this interview. The algorithm tends to move super quick nowadays, and that's the case for every social media platform I've seen. And there are
unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. And there are a lot of YouTubers who, because of this, have either peaked real quick or have not peaked at all and haven't been able to keep a consistent, I guess, viewer base over the years. So, if you've ever struggled with that, is there a way you ever like overcome that or how do you market yourself?
Well, in the beginning, it was kind of hard to get videos to get views. And what ended up happening was I was sharing it with the right people and on the right pages. I was sharing stuff with bands, just simple links, you know, in ways that wasn't going to bug them or overwhelm them or annoy the shit out of them. And also, I posted one of my videos on Reddit, and it got huge, exploded from there.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. I was on a momentum with that. And that's the big thing right there, is just keep up the momentum and share the videos with the right people and, you know, have an audience in mind for the videos. I do make videos occasionally that the audience is primarily me, but
yeah.
Sometimes they get views, sometimes they don't. It's kind of hard to tell what's going to get viewed and what isn't. The algorithm's pretty brutal. Sometimes for videos like the Skinny Puppy video that I did, Skinny Puppy's final rap in Los Angeles, that took over a month to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that got over 2,500 views. Contributing to that, I uploaded that video in January, and historically, December and January are two of the worst months out of the year to upload to YouTube.
Really?
Yep, that's why a lot of YouTubers take breaks around Christmas time, because they know that whatever effort they put in, it's not going to get uploaded. Oh,
Fair.
sorry, it's not going to get a lot of views.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where you kind of have to weigh your options. Do you want to be the proper artist and upload work that you're proud of, that you spent a lot of time with? Or do you want to please the algorithm? And, really have to have a healthy mix of both.
I got you, yeah. No, I really agree with the networking and stuff. I think that's been great. All right.
Oh yeah, it's nice, and also fan interactions. Just even if I don't answer all of my messages, I usually read all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what keeps people coming back.
Does making these videos ever stress you out? You ever feel like burnout, and do you ever feel like pressure to like switch up video styles in order to keep up with this algorithm, or change your scheduling, or change your content, and if you do, does this ever take a toll on you, like, for lack of better terms, mentally?
Sometimes, the big thing that stresses me out is when a lot of people don't watch the videos. Like sometimes, like I'll meet people at shows and I'll ask them if they've seen the most recent video I'd uploaded, and sometimes I'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you had a new video up."
Mm-hmm.
It's because YouTube doesn't really push the videos out to them.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit, because 60,000 subscribers coming up. When you click the subscribe button, that's the viewer telling YouTube, "Hey, we want to see more of this. Please send us more of this."
Yeah.
So that's just, it's something that I put my heart and soul into, and it's not a stepping stone for me to meet bands that I like, or to be popular, or to have fans, or to make money from it. This is who I am creatively. It's YouTube, and sometimes I exaggerate the personality part a little bit, but generally it's an extension of who I am as a person.
And that's how
because if you want to get to know who I am, you got to know what I like, and that's the whole MO of the channel, is talking about things I like.
And that's how it should be. I personally, I notice fake. I don't see any fake in your videos,
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, sometimes the videos are going to be out there and off the wall, like the whole video about, what if penises were upside down.
The anal cunt music video.
Now that's a sort of segue answer to your question. So I took an accidental break during 2020 because COVID the lockdowns affected me pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it that way. And when I came back and started doing videos, it was weird. I read a comment somewhere, I think it was on Reddit. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, Killbot came back, but it hasn't been the same. It's like he wants to be taken seriously now or something." As if I didn't want to be taken seriously before. Like, I'm not some guy who just goes, metal, Mountain Dew, No, this is stuff that I've been into for years, and I speak from my heart with it. But if it's comedy they want, on the other hand, I will give them comedy. So the upside down penises video came out after that comment was read.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, you want comedy? Okay, I'll give you comedy, motherfucker."
I would even argue that your videos now have just gotten more fun. I've definitely seen like improvement. It's been great. I think you've heard your videos, even if they're serious videos, they're just fun to watch. I was completely engaged in the new fan bases video when I was watching that. I was coming back from Georgia yesterday, watching your channel and checking out the new video, and I was just completely engaged, just having a fun time watching it.
Thank you for that.
Of course.
And they're not always serious. Like, there's a time to be funny and there's a time to be informative as well.
Agreed.
Bill Hicks is one of my favorite comedians ever, and that was one of his rules of comedy. Was, you can be funny, but you don't have to always be funny. You can also be interesting. In this case, with the fan bases video, there were a couple things that inspired me for that video. A friend of mine used to run a meme page on a band that I like. Not going to say which one because I don't want to incriminate them.
Okay.
But she dealt with some pretty harsh crap from the fan base, and it overwhelmed her, and she stopped doing the page. It got me thinking. It's like, okay, so when do fan bases start to suck? Because the video before that was on Pantera, And I've done a Pantera video or two in the past, and their fan base,
I went to a Pantera show, and that was probably the most unpleasant pit I've ever been in.
yeah, they're a bunch of characters. So,
Mm-hmm.
when I did the Pantera video, I was expecting a little bit of backlash, which fortunately never came. But the one that I did on them reuniting without the Abbott brothers, a bunch of people were watching the video that didn't. Well, they were commenting on the video without even watching the damn video. So they saw the title of it and they were like, "Oh, fuck you! If you don't want to go see the show, then don't see the show." Blah blah
And
blah
you
blah blah.
addressed
Just
that. You addressed that in the
trolling
video.
and being assholes.
Yeah.
I know. It's like if you watch the damn video all the way through and then commented, that would be one thing. But a lot of people, they just want to be assholes. They thrive on it.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, the two worst fan bases I've dealt with in all these years of doing YouTube, talking about hundreds of bands, Burzum and Pantera.
Burzum.
Those two.
That's another one.
Those two. And that got me thinking. It's like, okay, so fan bases. When do fan bases start to become toxic? And when do music communities start to become depressing and just aggravating to be part of? Because I've been getting messages for years from all these teenagers and other people being like, "Hey, is it okay to like this band if I'm into death metal?" It's like, dude, like whatever you want.
Yeah, the whole is it okay to like Ghost? Is it okay to like Sleep Token? Is it okay to like blah blah blah? This band. It's ridiculous.
It's weird. I did that video on the last Ghost album, Impera, and a lot of people in the comments said, "Hey, I didn't listen to Ghost for a long time because people said it wasn't metal, but when you did this video, it relieved me. I was able to listen to Ghost." I'm like, well, why did you? It's a shame that you felt the need for me to come out and tell you that it was okay to listen to Ghost. You shouldn't have to be told that it's okay to like something.
Relieved is crazy. Just check it out. I mean, just any music I get.
I mean, for a band like Ghost, who doesn't need a jerk off like me doing a video on them, you know, they're huge. They don't need to be doing videos on them.
Exactly. Do you ever run into any creative blocks when it comes to writing or recording? I know I myself have run into a lot of writer's block when it comes to even like YouTube videos, or even like music, or even I make films, even like making films. And if you struggle like this, how do you overcome it?
Well, I do at times. Sometimes I struggle with music as well. Just coming up with riffs, coming up with drum lines. Let's see, there was one video I did. It was called Problems with Records. It took me 3 attempts at writing it before I finally got it right. It was a video that I wanted to make and just didn't know what approach I wanted to take. So it took me over 2 years, I think, before I finally made it. But in the meantime, I was working on other stuff, working on other projects, keeping it interesting, keeping the momentum going, because you just can't force creativity. Yeah. It's either there or it isn't. Talking to people, talking to others, going out, living life helps. Being good to yourself helps. Being able to bounce ideas off of other people. Sometimes, like, it's not even that you'll get direct ideas from friends of yours, but just basic conversation happens, and you'll think of something. You'll think of something on a bike ride. There's a book that I read. It's called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And it is a 12-week course book, basically, on ways to unblock your creativity. And among the techniques that you can do are morning pages. And morning pages, basically just stream of consciousness, write 3 pages as soon as you wake up, clears your head. Clears your head totally. And then your brain is free for the rest of the day. Billy Corgan, he read this book in the early 90s. And within 24 hours, he wrote 2 of the Smashing Pumpkins' biggest hits.
I'm going to have to look into that. I'm writing all this stuff down as you're telling it to me.
It's worth doing. And that book came out in the early 90s. She still sells the shit out of it. And she does seminars for these books that she does. So, yeah.
So, just one more serious question. Do you have any words of advice for anyone looking to get into the YouTube scene?
Don't. I'm just playing. Fly your flag up the pole and see who salutes it. Upload videos that you can stand behind. 100%. Like, don't upload it and then send it to people and be like, "Yay, I know the audio sucks, but the video is pretty good." No. You fix that audio, you get it right the way you want it when you upload it, and then send it to people. You got to be confident, be able to stand behind everything you post. There are videos that, in retrospect, I kind of wish that I'd done differently, but at the time of uploading, it's the way that I want it. I have to like it first before anybody else likes it. And generally you get better over time. For the most part, I make less mistakes now when filming than I did in the beginning. Because, practice, better speech patterns, better filming patterns. There's some shots that I got early on and some edits I did early on where I'm like, why in the hell did I think that was a good idea? But, you just, time and experience, I guess. Sometimes what I tell people is, hey, record and edit a video, completely finish it, and then delete it, start it all over. You'll usually have a better first video that way.
Yeah.
You have that practice, you have that preparation.
So as far as music goes, do you definitely plan on expanding on that? Because I know your most recent song was great. Loved it.
Downstream, yes, thank you. I bought 2 synthesizers around Christmas time.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make a song that was basically a mix of metal as well as all the goth and dark wave stuff I've been listening to for the past couple of years. And I think it blended pretty well. There were the pads, there was the synth bass, there were the metal guitars, there was the growling, there was the whispers that kind of sounds like Ogre, kind of sounds like Trent Reznor.
Have you listened to Chelsea Wolfe?
But no.
Chelsea Wolfe's great. She's like she started off doing singer-songwriter stuff, and then she got really into doing doom metal, and now she's like doing like experimental Bjork stuff. But she's definitely if she's anything, and I don't like categorizing people into one genre at all. I hate it. But if she's anything, she's definitely goth. Like almost like a modern day Susie. I mean, she's great.
I believe it.
Yep.
I got some Bjork in my collection, in fact.
Oh, hell yeah.
But the music thing. What keeps the music interesting, and this goes with my listening habits as well. If a band sounds too much like another band, I'm just not really that interested. What I aim for now is originality. With these last few songs I did, including Limerence, that song was totally unlike anything I had ever done prior to that. There were time changes, there were chorus guitars and all sorts of crazy effects. There was a woman vocalist on it. And with Downstream, you introduce the synthesizers and you introduce all the goth stuff I've been listening to for the past couple of years. And that's original stuff. I'd never done stuff like that before. And when you ask people what it sounds like, sometimes they can't even tell you what it sounds like.
Yeah.
World in Ruin, that's another example. Believe it or not, the influences for that song were Talking Heads.
Really? And
probably Dystopia. Because think about it, Talking Heads. Their biggest song, Once in a Lifetime, 1 drum line, 1 bass line. So that was the idea for that song. It's like, what if I do 1 drum line, 1 bass line, make it nice and tribal?
Yeah.
And all in the comments, nobody could figure out who it was supposed to sound like or who the influences were. So that's how you created something original, I suppose.
Are we ever going to see a Killbot tour?
Gotta make money first doing music.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even have physical copies pressed. I'm sure if some label wants to snap me up, we can work out something, but we'll have to see.
Tell you what, I'm going to start a label. And on that label, you're going to see Killbot and Gor Gor Attack, and it's going to be the next Roadrunner, all right? I mean, they're gonna tremble at, when they see Killbot headlining Vakken.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something. I would go to that. So, now we have some fun questions. Some fun with bands. So, my first one. What are some bands you feel like are really, really under-recognized that you want to give some more recognition to?
Well, Necrot's getting some recognition, finally. And that's good. Ghoul, I think, they've been sweating it out for more than 20 years, and more people need to know who Ghoul are.
Yep, I agree.
Let's see, then of course there are the darkwave bands. Drad Majesty, of course, they're getting big. They're underrated. Vision Video, Twin Tribes, they've been around for a few years now, so yeah, they're getting bigger, thankfully. Oh yeah, Contusion, they're from New Jersey. Great death metal, friend of mine runs it. Mark Bronzino, who used to be in Iron Reagan and ANS and a whole bunch of other great bands. They just fucking rip it up, man.
Now, who are some bands that you cannot stand that everyone else seems to worship?
Metallica,
Yeah.
the most kiss-ass fan base on the planet.
Yep.
They have one song that I really love, and the rest of it, it's like I hear it so often, and people are like, "Well, why don't you have any Metallica albums?" I don't need to have any. It's already everywhere.
What's
I hear
the one
that shit
song
in
you
Walmart. I hear it on the radio. I hear it on the PAs between sets.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to hear Enter Sandman or Sad But True for the rest of my life, ever.
Yeah.
Like, the one song they have that I love, The Outlaw Torn, unironically, best song they ever did.
My last question. What is your take on what's your take on the newer genre bending that's happening now? I know we see some bands like Sleep Token, even stuff like Ghostmane that have like completely like who other people would consider other genres, but have still like taken a lot of the metal influence. What do you think of that?
It's going to keep the genre interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a good thing, because there are way too many bands that sound like other bands and sound like genres that have just been played to death. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying those genres, but, you know, if you want to keep a healthy music scene, you got to change things up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, punk basically turned into new wave. And new wave kind of spread out and did its own thing with many of its big iconic bands. You know, Talking Heads went from Talking Heads 77 eventually to Remain in Light, which was a whole genre of its own, basically. You know, it's interesting for the genre.
Yeah. And a lot of people that are gatekeeping it, I'm like, dude, it'll bring in so much more people. It's just more and more gateway drugs, you know?
Hey, I mean, there's plenty for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everyone. So that'll do it for this interview. Thank you, Killbot, again for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I know I did. But again, want to thank you so much. I want to thank you all at home for watching, and stay tuned for the next Damper Jerem interview. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and grind on.
Grind on. Thank you for having me.
Of course, man.